Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the first episode of a brand new series here on HN called What If. Now, in this series, we'll pick a film or TV franchise and generate a what if scenario inspired by a triad concept known as thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. And some people may know this from studying German philosopher Johann Fichte, but in very simple terms, the thesis is a simple idea which can be seen as having stability and understanding, yet not complete. The antithesis is a conflicting idea which may arise from the incompleteness and operates basically as a negation of the thesis. And the synthesis is formed by the conflict of the thesis and antithesis, produced by combining partial truths between both the thesis and antithesis, and this generates a new thesis going forward. Now, usually this dialectical method would continue again and again and again, each time generating a new truth. However, for our purposes, we'll do this a little differently. So instead of thesis, we'll have timeline A, which is the original moment and actions from that selected movie or TV franchise. Instead of antithesis, we'll have timeline B, which is the original moment with the moment-based tweak, generating an almost opposite-like action which produces a new narrative. And instead of synthesis, we'll have timeline C, which is an original moment with the moment-based tweak, yet it still follows the conclusion at the end of the day of timeline A, aka the original narrative. So with all that said and done, that's just a way we're doing what ifs here for this series. We figured it'd be an interesting kind of way to do a twist on the whole narrative thing for what ifs, just because a lot of people do what ifs. So if we're going to do a what if too, we might as well do it differently. So getting into timeline A, we're going to explore the events basically of Godzilla King of the Monsters, specifically the moment after Mothra's death. Now, this was a major moment in the film as her death acted as a catalyst for Godzilla's transformation into Fire Godzilla. In this form, supercharging Godzilla with Mothra's life energy allowed a weakened Godzilla to heal and defeat Ghidorah with the usage of nuclear pulse stomps. And from here, Godzilla asserted himself as the true king of the monsters and led the Titans to a relatively peaceful existence with humanity. However, it wouldn't have been possible without the timely intervention of the Russell family activating the Orca device. And this distraction prevented Ghidorah from fully draining the energy out of Godzilla, which allowed him, instead of dying, to heal up a little bit and then become Fire Godzilla, and the rest is history. With timeline B, that's what we're looking at today. What would have happened if the Russells were never able to activate the Orca device after Mothra's death in Boston? And with a single iteration, the consequences would have been actually relatively massive. If this alteration were to take place, Ghidorah would have drained the still weak Godzilla of his life energy until he died. And in theory, this could provide Ghidorah a supercharged form, since he'd be absorbing not only Godzilla's life energy, but in turn Mothra's as well. However, we'll assume this wouldn't happen, and Fire Godzilla was simply a byproduct between Godzilla and Mothra species. After this moment, with the energy of both Godzilla and Mothra now absorbed into him, Ghidorah would be able to emit a powerful energy blast like he does earlier in the film, and this would neutralize the surrounding military aircrafts and ground units. And assuming Dr. Russell would try activating the Orca out of fear of Ghidorah, she and her family would likely be targeted and killed by the Titan as well. And by the end of all these combat engagements, the Titans are eventually now not only called by Ghidorah. After this moment, the Titans wouldn't return to their natural environments and would likely create chaos across the globe. The Titans' activity would still create strange new life across the globe, both fauna and flora. However, ecosystems would eventually be destroyed by Ghidorah's influence on localized storm systems. This would force certain Titans not under Ghidorah's leadership to hide at Skull Island, as Kong would be the only other Titan relatively remaining as an alpha, and at the same time Skull Island is very remote. And with remaining world governments backing and also Kong's friendly relations towards humanity, a war would develop between humanity with Kong's pack of Titans versus Ghidorah's pack of Titans and Ghidorah. And humanity would attempt to expedite the development of a new oxygen destroyer type weapon as well, but it wouldn't be super effective in counteracting Ghidorah's vast regenerative abilities and the fact that as an alien Titan, Ghidorah doesn't really need oxygen like that. Now, Kong would lose the Titan War unfortunately. Ghidorah would eventually not only cause mass extinction across the globe, but once humanity's civilizations are eliminated, the planet's atmosphere is distorted beyond natural ranges, Titans would begin to die as well, and the planet would eventually perish, and then Ghidorah would likely depart Earth to conquer another planet. Now we get on to timeline C, where we'll examine what would happen if Timeline B was softened a bit to include more characteristics and the conclusion of Timeline A. Now in this scenario, the Orca is activated by the Russell family, but Ghidorah can still absorb enough of Godzilla's energy to prevent a Fire Godzilla transformation. And recognizing Godzilla as humanity's last hope, the military does their best to distract Ghidorah with any firepower available and strategic usage of the Orca so Godzilla can successfully retreat. And the Russells also use the Orca to send incoming Titans back to their national locations to prevent an uncontrollable Titan event in Boston. Monarch then helps Godzilla retreat to Skull Island, where they're able to have a top secret Monarch base and direct access to subterranean tunnels, which goes to the Hollow Earth to help Godzilla in terms of rejuvenating his energy. And while some tensions may arise between Godzilla and Kong initially, they play nice since neither one is a direct threat or trying to antagonize the other, and eventually Titans loyal to Godzilla slowly but surely follow him to Skull Island. Now during this time, Ghidorah further builds his Titan followers while causing more local storm system disruptions, and this would likely decimate certain cities, destabilize certain nations around the globe, causing just pandemonium everywhere. And Ghidorah would eventually turn his attention specifically to hunting with other Titans for Godzilla, but failed to find them since Skull Island is remote in the Pacific and at the same time surrounded in its own right by perpetual storms. And this would provide Monarch the time needed to help Godzilla recover at the quickest rate possible while also studying ways to defeat Ghidorah. And when Godzilla is fully healed up due to Monarch technology in the Hollow Earth tunnels on Skull Island, he along with Kong and a group of their Titan followers battle Ghidorah and his followers, in locations strategically selected by Monarch to eliminate any inherent advantages that Ghidorah would have. With Monarch and numerous governments helping, plus the Orca technology still intact, Ghidorah is in quite of a situation here because his Titan followers are constantly being confused, commanded away, sent to battle opposing Titans as well. Basically it's not really working out for Ghidorah, and eventually the battle becomes Ghidorah versus Godzilla and Kong. And the three have a vicious battle where Monarch, for example, prepares technology to help Godzilla rejuvenate and power up at an accelerated rate. And at the same time, they give Kong a bunch of melee weapons like axes and just blunt objects like hammers that he can use as well to help kind of even the odds between the three Titans. They're able to defeat Ghidorah and destroy the three-headed threat. Godzilla from here is able to reestablish himself as a Titan Alpha, while Kong goes back to Skull Island. And the world recovers from Ghidorah's destruction, and leading the Titans in a more benevolent kind of way, Godzilla helps revive previously barren ecosystems and mediates peace going forward between humanity and the Titans. So that's it for this episode. I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys like our approach to doing a what if series. Let us know down below any topics you guys want to suggest. And at the same time, do you guys like how we're doing what ifs, or do you prefer some of the other ways people do what ifs? Just let us know. We just want to make the best content for you guys. So whatever is the best way you guys feel is something that we're willing to explore. But with all that said and done, comment below and we'll see you guys later.